With lockdown 2.0 being partially open from April 20th, Chief Secretary of Sikkim SC Gupta briefed about the new guidelines which will be implemented from the 20th of April in the state. State Chief Secretary SC Gupta asserted that the threat to Sikkim is only from the outside the borders now. On the plans to lift the lockdown and therewith with the imposition of the Section 144 in the state being lifted, the Chief Secretary at TataSky Secretariat asserted that at some point economic activities have to begin. Chief Secretary Gupta also told that they are all aware that the lockdown is still going, which will last till May 3rd, and they will observe it strictly as done earlier. But there will be a relaxation for few people like agricultural, practitioner, laborers, those who are already working and are in Sikkim and skeletal duty of the government employees. The laborer who are already working in Sikkim and working in various construction sites will be allowed to carry on their work, but they will have to maintain the social distancing strictly. Similarly, agricultural practitioners, including the dairy, gaishalas, maintainers, are also allowed to travel for their necessary feeds.
We have also further notified these guidelines insofar as far as essential goods and commodities are concerned, the wholesalers and retailers activities will be allowed. Commercial and other private enterprises and establishments, media will continue to be free. Government approved common service centers will be allowed. E-commerce activities will be allowed. What is prohibited and not allowed is public transport. So within Sikkim also, movement is not allowed. Only in case of medical emergency, with due permission from district collectors, this kind of movement can be undertaken. All kinds of functions and gatherings are prohibited up to 3rd of May.
When asked to Chief Secretary about Gupta that the Sikkim is only the state which have not reported COVID positive, how does it able to ensure safety of its people despite the proximity to Assam and West Bengal? How is it able to keep it safe? Then he replied that because of the law-abiding people who observed the lockdown seriously and frontline workers who gave their best services altogether, they have been able to keep themselves with zero COVID case till date, and hope that in the coming days people will also observe the lockdown seriously.
Period of lockdown has been increased to 3rd of May 2020. It's just that few relaxations have been made because maybe these relaxations were necessary taking into account the current situation. But by and large, we have to understand that the lockdown period is still not over and we can't really relent. We have seen this situation in Sikkim also. We are very lucky with the cooperation of everybody. We have been able to handle the situation much better than many other states so far.
The Chief Secretary Gupta also shared that now wearing masks in public places are mandatory and spitting in public places would invite penal actions. The district magistrate said that the sole authority as the Disaster Management Act 2005 have been implemented across the nation. Altogether, 1,08,400 vehicles and 6,05,000 people have been screened at Sikkim borders since January.